Vision goes beyond what we see with our eyes. It's about what we can imagine, believe in, and work toward, even when the present moment doesn't reflect it. Too often people get trapped in the now, focusing on obstacles, setbacks, and uncertainties. But true greatness starts with the ability to see the possibilities before they become reality. It's about having the courage to envision something better when everything around you screams to settle for less. This kind of vision isn't easy. It demands faith, discipline, and a deep sense of purpose. Think about how much of life's progress depends on people daring to see farther than their circumstances. Every innovation, every leap forward, every monumental achievement began with someone seeing beyond their current reality. The person who sees from a distance doesn't just dream of the destination, they map a path toward it, step by step, even when the road ahead is unclear. They understand that clarity isn't always immediate and that sometimes you have to move in faith, trusting the process as you build something bigger than what's visible in the moment. But this vision is not something handed to you. It's cultivated through reflection and persistence. It requires quiet moments where you strip away distractions, sit with your thoughts, and dare to ask yourself, what's the bigger picture here? This process isn't about having all the answers right away. It's about allowing yourself to imagine what could be and holding on to that picture even when doubt tries to creep in. But the sure thing is, it will not be as bad as you think it is. People will tell you to be realistic, to focus on the practical, to settle. And while there's wisdom in being grounded, there's also power in reaching for more than what you see. This kind of vision is especially important in times of struggle, when life tests you, when the money's low, the opportunity's scarce, or the doors seem closed. You have to be able to see beyond those immediate circumstances. Seeing from a distance means recognizing that this moment is temporary, a part of a bigger story that's still unfolding. It's refusing to let a setback define you or your future. Instead, you see it for what it is, a lesson, a stepping stone, or even a redirection to something greater. When you cultivate the ability to see from a distance, you also start making decisions differently. You stop being driven by fleeting emotions or short-term gains. Instead, you operate with purpose, aligning your actions with the vision you're building. This approach sets you apart because it brings clarity and direction where others might only see confusion. It's not just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process. Someone who is patient, focused, and unwavering in their pursuit. The world is full of people who settle for what's right in front of them. They take the easy road because it's visible and familiar. But the people who change the game, the ones who leave a mark, are those who look beyond. They don't stop at the mountain in front of them. They see the valley beyond it and start climbing. They don't let today's struggles define tomorrow's possibilities. Instead, they move with purpose, fueled by a vision that only they can see. This kind of vision isn't for everyone because it requires work, it requires sacrifice, and the willingness to take steps even when the outcome is uncertain. But for those who embrace it, the rewards are unparalleled. Because when you can see from a distance, you're not just living for the moment, you're building something that lasts. Preparation is a quiet and often overlooked part of success. It's the work done in solitude, away from the applause, the recognition, and the spotlight. It's not glamorous, and it doesn't come with instant rewards, but it's the foundation for everything that follows. When you look at anyone who's achieved greatness, you'll find that their most important battles were won long before anyone ever noticed them. They were fought in the early mornings, the late nights, and the moments when they could have chosen comfort but instead chose discipline. The truth about preparation is that it's not easy. It requires you to confront your weaknesses, to fail repeatedly, and to keep pushing forward even when it feels like you're making no progress. It's tempting to skip this step, to rush toward the outcome without fully equipping yourself for the journey. But success built on shortcuts is fragile. It might last for a moment, but it won't withstand the tests of time, pressure, or adversity. Real preparation is about doing the hard work that nobody sees, trusting that it will pay off when the time comes. In a world where instant gratification is everywhere, the value of preparation often gets lost. People want results without effort, recognition without sacrifice, and success without struggle. But the reality is that the moments of glory are fleeting compared to the countless hours it takes to prepare. The work done in silence shapes you in ways that the world will never fully understand. It builds resilience, sharpens your skills, and strengthens your character. It's in those quiet moments that you learn what you're truly capable of and what you're willing to fight for. Preparation isn't just about skill, it's about mindset. It's about training yourself to stay focused, disciplined, and committed even when motivation fades. It's about developing the mental toughness to push through the moments when you want to quit. Because no matter how talented you are, there will be days when the road feels too hard, the challenge is too great, and the progress too slow. Those are the moments when your preparation will carry you through. It's not the work you do when things are easy that defines you. It's the work you do when everything in you wants to stop. This process is lonely. When you're putting in the hours, it might feel like nobody notices or cares, but that's the nature of preparation. It's not meant to be noticed. It's meant to transform you from the inside out so that when the moment comes, you're ready. Think about an athlete training for years for a single race, or a musician practicing endlessly for one performance. The audience only sees the final result, but the real magic happened in the hours, days, and years that led up to it. The same principle applies to every area of life. Whether you're building a career, pursuing a passion, or working toward a goal, the preparation you do behind the scenes will determine your success. It's not about waiting for the right opportunity to come along. It's about being ready when it does. Too many people missed their moment because they weren't prepared. They spent their time waiting instead of working, hoping instead of hustling. But the people who succeed are the ones who treat every day as an opportunity to get better, even when nobody's watching. Life rarely reveals its full picture at once. Instead, it unfolds in fragments, pieces that may seem disconnected, incomplete, or even chaotic. In the midst of this, it's easy to feel lost or overwhelmed, wondering how everything fits together. But the power of perspective lies in trusting the bigger picture, even when you can't see it clearly. It's about stepping back and recognizing that every experience, every setback, and every triumph has its place in the larger design. When you're in the middle of a challenge, it can feel all-consuming. The weight of failure or disappointment has a way of narrowing your focus until all you can see is the difficulty right in front of you. But those moments, as hard as they are part of something greater. They teach lessons, build resilience, and prepare you for what's ahead. It's only when you look back, sometimes years later, that you begin to see how those moments shaped you, how they connected to the victories that followed, and how they led you to where you're meant to be. Trusting the bigger picture requires patience, and patience is not something that comes easily. In a world that values speed and instant results, waiting can feel like failure. But growth doesn't happen overnight. Seeds planted in the soil don't sprout immediately. They take time, nurturing, and the right conditions. The same is true for the vision of your life. You may not see progress right away, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. The work you put in today, the struggles you endure, the effort you give might not show results tomorrow, but it's all contributing to something greater. This kind of trust also requires faith. Faith in yourself, faith in the process, and faith in something bigger than your understanding. It means believing that even when things don't make sense, they have a purpose. Sometimes doors close not to punish you, but to redirect you to something better. Sometimes the opportunities you think you want aren't the ones meant for you. And sometimes the very thing you're trying to avoid is the thing that will help you grow the most. Faith is about leaning into that uncertainty, knowing that the pieces will come together in time. But trusting the bigger picture isn't about sitting back and waiting for life to unfold. It's about actively engaging with your journey, even when the path isn't clear. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and giving your best, even when you're not sure where it will lead. This kind of trust doesn't mean avoiding mistakes. It means learning from them. It doesn't mean never feeling fear or doubt. It means moving forward in spite of them. Trusting the bigger picture is a balance between action and surrender, between striving and letting go. Perspective is powerful. What feels like a failure today may turn out to be a stepping stone tomorrow. What seems like a detour might be the most direct path to where you're meant to be. When you're too close to a situation, it's hard to see its full impact. But as time goes on, the view becomes clearer. It's like standing in front of a massive painting and only seeing the brushstrokes. When you step back, you see the masterpiece those strokes create. There's a peace that comes with trusting the bigger picture. It doesn't mean life becomes easy or that challenges disappear, but it does shift the way you approach them. You begin to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth. You start to view delays not as denials, but as lessons in timing. And you come to understand that even when life doesn't go according to plan, it's still unfolding as it should. Trusting the bigger picture allows you to embrace the journey, knowing that every piece has its place. Endurance is not about speed. It's about staying power. In a world that celebrates quick wins and overnight success, the ability to endure is often overlooked. But it is endurance that separates those who achieve lasting greatness from those who falter when the road gets tough. Life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And the strength to keep moving forward, even when the finish line feels out of reach, is what defines true success. Endurance begins with a mindset. It's about refusing to let obstacles dictate your progress. There will be moments when the weight of your challenges feels unbearable, when every step forward feels harder than the last. But it's in those moments that endurance is forged. It's the decision to push through the discomfort, to keep going when it would be easier to give up. Endurance doesn't mean you don't feel the pain or frustration. It means you acknowledge it and keep moving anyway. Progress often feels slow, and that's where many people lose their way. They want results now, and when they don't see immediate rewards, they stop trying. But endurance teaches you to focus on the process, not just the outcome. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and trusting that the small, consistent efforts will add up over time. The most successful people didn't get to where they are by doing one big thing right. They got there by doing countless small things right. day after day, even when no one was watching. Endurance also requires resilience. Life will knock you down. That's inevitable. You'll face failures, rejections, and setbacks that make you question whether the fight is worth it. But resilience is what helps you get back up, no matter how many times you fall. It's the ability to see a setback as temporary, not permanent. It's about learning from your failures and using them as fuel to keep moving forward. Every stumble is an opportunity to grow stronger, to refine your approach, and to prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever thought possible. One of the hardest parts of endurance is staying committed when progress is invisible. There will be times when it feels like nothing is changing, when your efforts seem to be in vain. But just because you can't see the results doesn't mean they aren't happening. Think about how a tree grows. The roots spread deep into the soil long before the first leaves break through the surface. The same is true for your goals. The work you do in the unseen moments is laying the foundation for the breakthroughs that will come. Endurance also requires a sense of purpose. Without a clear reason for why you're pushing forward, it's easy to lose motivation. Your purpose is what anchors you when the journey gets tough. It's what reminds you why you started in the first place and what keeps you focused on the bigger picture. The purpose gives your efforts meaning, and that meaning gives you the strength to endure. It's not enough to want success. You have to know why you want it and be willing to fight for it, even when the odds are against you. Endurance doesn't mean doing it all alone. It's about finding strength in the people who believe in you, the mentors who guide you, and the community that supports you. Surrounding yourself with those who uplift you can make all the difference. They remind you of your worth when you doubt yourself and encourage you to keep going when you're ready to quit. Endurance is not just an individual effort. It's often fueled by the connections you build along the way. At its core, endurance is about persistence, patience, and faith. It's about trusting that the journey is worth it, even when it feels endless. It's the understanding that success isn't defined by how quickly you reach your destination, but by the strength you show in staying the course. Endurance isn't glamorous, but it's powerful. It's what turns dreams into reality and challenges into triumphs. It's the quiet force that keeps you moving forward, one step at a time. Don't give up. All you have to do is completely change up the process. In a world driven by instant gratification, it's easy to chase what's immediate and visible. The applause, the quick wins, the fleeting moments of recognition, they feel good in the moment, but they rarely last. Legacy, on the other hand, is built over time. It's not about what you achieve in the short term, but about the lasting impact you leave behind. Choosing legacy over instant gratification means playing the long game, even when it's harder, slower, and less glamorous. Legacy is about more than personal success. It's about the difference you make in the lives of others, the influence you have on the world around you, and the values you stand for. It's about building something that endures, something that continues to matter long after you're gone. But this kind of impact doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention, effort, and a willingness to sacrifice the immediate for the sake of the lasting. Instant gratification is tempting because it's easy to see and measure. It offers quick rewards, immediate recognition, and the feeling of accomplishment. But these rewards are often superficial and fleeting. They don't satisfy in the long term, and they can distract from what really matters. Legacy, on the other hand, is not about what's easy or immediate. It's about doing the hard work, making tough decisions, and staying committed to your values even when it's inconvenient. Building a legacy requires vision. You have to be able to see beyond the present moment and think about the bigger picture. It's about asking yourself, what do I want to leave behind? What kind of example do I want to set? What impact do I want to have? These questions force you to look beyond the here and now and focus on what truly matters. They help you prioritize your time, energy, and resources in ways that align with your long-term goals and values. Legacy also demands patience. The rewards of a life well lived don't come quickly or easily. They come from years of consistent effort, from showing up day after day and doing the work even when progress feels slow. Patience is hard in a culture that celebrates speed and immediacy, but it's essential for building something that lasts. You can't rush greatness, and you can't shortcut the process of creating a meaningful legacy. Another key to building a legacy is integrity. People remember how you make them feel, how you treat them, and how you live your life. Your actions, words, and decisions create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your immediate circle. Integrity means staying true to your principles, even when it's difficult. It means doing the right thing, not because it's easy or because someone is watching, but because it's who you are. Then, a legacy built on integrity is one that inspires trust, respect, and admiration. Legacy requires a willingness to think beyond yourself. It's not just about what you achieve. It's about how your achievements benefit others. It's about creating opportunities, lifting others up, and leaving the world better than you found it. This kind of selflessness is rare, but it's what sets true legacy builders apart. They understand that their impact is measured not by the size of their accomplishments, but by the depth of their influence on the people and communities around them. The pursuit of legacy also comes with challenges. It requires sacrifices, delayed gratification, and a commitment to the long term. It means saying no to distractions, temptations, and shortcuts that might offer quick wins but don't align with your bigger goals. It's about staying focused, disciplined, and consistent, even when the rewards aren't immediate. Legacy isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you build intentionally. It's about choosing purpose over popularity, values over convenience, and impact over recognition. It's about understanding that the most meaningful achievements take time, effort, and dedication. While instant gratification may feel good in the moment, it's legacy that stands the test of time. Faith in the unknown is one of the most powerful yet challenging mindsets to cultivate. It requires you to step forward without knowing exactly where the path will lead. It means taking risks, embracing uncertainty, and trusting that the journey will reveal itself as you go. This kind of faith doesn't come naturally. It demands courage, resilience, and a deep belief in something bigger than your fears. Life is full of moments where the next step isn't clear. You might face decisions that feel overwhelming, challenges that seem insurmountable, or opportunities that require you to leave behind what's comfortable and familiar. It's in these moments that faith in the unknown becomes essential. It allows you to move forward even when doubt tries to hold you back. It's not about having all the answers. It's about trusting that the answers will come in time. Faith in the unknown isn't blind optimism. It's not pretending that challenges don't exist or that everything will magically work out. It's about acknowledging the uncertainty and choosing to move forward anyway. It's about believing that the steps you take, no matter how small or uncertain, will lead you closer to where you're meant to be. It's about understanding that progress often happens in ways you can't predict or control, but that doesn't make it any less real. This kind of faith requires you to let go of the need for complete certainty. It's natural to want guarantees, to seek assurance that your efforts will pay off and that your risks will lead to rewards. But life doesn't come with guarantees. The greatest opportunities often lie beyond what's familiar, in places where the outcome is uncertain. Faith in the unknown means embracing this uncertainty as part of the journey, trusting that each step forward is taking you closer to your purpose. Taking the first step is often the hardest. When you're standing at the edge of the unknown, fear has a way of creeping in. What if you fail? What if you're not ready? What if the path leads nowhere? These questions can paralyze you if you let them. But faith in the unknown means quieting those doubts and taking the step anyway. It's not about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to act in spite of your fears. Faith in the unknown also teaches you to see challenges differently. Instead of viewing obstacles as roadblocks, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth. Every setback becomes a chance to learn, adapt, and become stronger. When you trust the journey, you understand that even the difficult moments have a purpose. They shape you, refine you, and prepare you for what's ahead. This perspective doesn't make the challenges easier, but it gives them meaning, which makes them easier to endure.